Speaking of which, you are to tell the listeners what you're doing next week.
I am 2 days away from girls' camp. We are on the countdown. I'm assistant camp director. So we have entered what I am calling the schlepping phase of camp.
Oh, explain, please. What is the schlepping phase?
Planning is
Looking for a cool, delicious way to beat the summer heat? Try Postma's refreshing cold beverages. Enjoy a creamy Postma frappe made with milk and just the right touch of sweetener for a smooth, energizing treat. Or dive into a rich Postma milkshake, perfect for those sunny days when you want something tasty and satisfying. Postum gives you that delightful caffeine-free boost with every sip. This summer, chill out with Postum. Refreshment you can feel good about.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to This Week in Mormons, the Twin Sisters edition with your host, Ariane Smith.
And Tiffany Hales.
Here we are.
Here we are.
In July.
Yeah, it's very true. I don't know how we got on the rotation that now we are like seemingly the last podcast of the in the Twim family
like
every month.
Barely squeezing
We're
it in.
barely squeezing it in.
But that feels how it actually is.
We're barely squeezing life in at the moment.
Yes.
Speaking of which, you are to tell the listeners what you're doing next week.
I am 2 days away from girls' camp. We are on the countdown. I'm assistant camp director. So we have entered what I am calling the schlepping phase of camp.
Oh, explain, please. What is the schlepping phase?
Planning is over.
Yes.
Then from here on out, it is pure schlepping of stuff.
Oh,
when you're one of the camp leaders, it is just schlepping stuff. Piles are accumulating in my house.
Oh, you have staging areas.
Oh, there's so many piles. Stuff is being schlepped. But this is what I want to point out that is freaking hilarious to me.
Okay.
I have borrowed items from you, and I'm borrowing some more items from
I
you
know.
tonight.
In fact, you sent me a list via text when you were coming over to my house to record. You were like, by the way, I need to pick up the following items because you were over here last night picking up stuff.
I was getting stuff last night. I'm just here every day now. So I feel like the list of items I have borrowed from you is the most appropriate girls' camp list. So if anything describes girls' camp, it is the list of items I have borrowed from you.
Well, then you better explain to the listeners what you borrowed from me. Because you can't just dangle that carrot and then go, peace out.
The epitome of girls' camp.
Okay.
So when I came last night, I got gear. I got backpacks for overnight hiking.
Yes.
Pads, sleeping bags, traditional camping gear.
Plus, you got a lecture from my husband in how to pack your backpack because you have never backpacked before.
I've never backpacked. I have never even peed in the wilderness until I did a hike a couple weeks ago where I was forced to. So,
oh, how did that go? I'm still traumatized from peeing in the wilderness on my backpack hike last year.
It went okay. I mean, I did average. But I bet so. This is a huge stretch for me.
Okay,
this whole backpack.
That's how I felt last year. So. In fact, was it you or was it Darren when we were talking a couple nights ago that was like, Hales girls just shouldn't be allowed to play in the woods.
We're not good at it. This is not our forte. But that brings me to the rest of the list, which is my forte.
Exactly.
So I have borrowed all kinds of survival gear from you.
Yes.
And then also on the list of things I am borrowing from you, a disco ball and a cordless glue gun. Does that not sum up girls' camp? In one tidy little package?
That perfectly sums up girls' camp.
My piles at home I'm accumulating, survival gear, craft.
Well, you better explain to them. First of all, the listeners are probably going, really? Tiffany has a disco ball? Of course I have a disco ball. It's bright. It's shiny.
And of course we're using it at camp.
You better explain to them how you're using the disco ball at camp because I really thought that this was so ingenious. I was like, mad props for thinking about this.
I'm actually very excited about this. The YCLs kind of helped us come up with this because so we have very few girls this year. Our ward is shrinking. We're down to 12 girls. So we have these really big tents that hold 6 to 8 people, I think. And so we're like, oh my gosh, we only need 2 tents this year. Last year we had 4 tents of girls.
Oh, wow.
We have shrunk. But we had the thought, let's take one of our extra tents
Yes.
and make it like the game tent, because
Okay.
there are always girls that want to go to sleep and there are always girls that want to stay up and play card games and goof off.
Yeah.
So we're like, this will eliminate that problem, because we'll have a game tent. You want to stay up and play cards, you go in the game tent. You want to go to bed, exit the game tent and go to your sleeping tent. So we're putting the disco ball in the game tent, because why not?
This is brilliant.
So-
When you told me what you were doing with the disco ball, that was my first thought. And I was like, this is so brilliant. So brilliant.
I know. It's going to be really fun. So.
Okay. And then, yes, cordless glue gun, because who wants to have to worry about power when crafting?
Yes.
And I have to say, for those of you out there who are crafters, a couple of years ago, my husband gave me a cordless glue gun for Christmas as a Christmas present. Changed my freaking glue gun life. It is like the best thing ever.
I really need to acquire one of these.
They are pricey. That is the reason it was a Christmas gift and not just a purchase. But you try it out. You see what you think.
I will take very good care of it in the wilderness.
I believe that you will. I'm even sending extra batteries.
By the way, people are probably confused. The crafting and the tent, the giant tents, that is before the backpacking.
Oh, okay.
There are two parts to this camp. The first, in the cushy church camp with big tents and crafting and cordless glue guns. Second part is one night in the wilderness with what you can carry in your bag and no toilets. So,
but I did hook you up with a pillow last night.
Yes,
you were almost out the door and I was like, oh, you're gonna want my travel pillow.
Yes, very grateful.
So all right. Well, I am in the mad throes of a wedding planning because my daughter is getting married on September 7th.
Yes.
So while you have schlepping piles in your house for girls camp, I am very quickly getting schlepping piles of wedding shiz.
That's exciting.
It is. It's very exciting. But last night I sat down and just kind of like timelined and planned stuff out, made a list of what I have, what I don't have, what I need. I might have been wanting to hyperventilate into a paper sack after that. So I need you to get girls camp, get it over with, get back to civilization, and come help me with this wedding.
Oh, I can do that. That will be way more fun to plan. I mean, girls camp is fun to plan, but that'll be way more fun to plan than like survival in the wilderness.
Exactly. Well, here's what I'm going to do next week. So while you're at girls camp, my husband is at High Adventure. And so he's at High Adventure Monday through Thursday. He'll come home Thursday night. So I fully intend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I have already contacted the soon to be new mother-in-law to my daughter. And I said, come over to my house each of those 3 nights. And we are going to hammer out some serious wedding crafts and see what we can get done next week when my husband's gone. So I am going to take advantage of that time while he's gone.
Smart of you
to get a whole bunch of
recruit the mother of the groom.
Well, she wanted to help, and so I thought that would be an excellent gesture. So
definitely.
Anyway, it'll be great.
Okay,
it'll be great. So, okay, now we have to talk about family reunion and a video that you saw at your family reunion.
Oh. I forgot about this. I didn't know we were going to talk about this.
Well, hello. It's been on the agenda that I sent you.
I clearly did not read the agenda. Okay. We must discuss because, I don't know, some people might want to go look at this gem.
You sent me the video and I was every shade of horrified.
So a family member brought up this old church missionary training video from the 90s.
It was like 94, 93, 94, which I'm sorry, I don't feel like that's that old.
I know. Well, and when I started to watch it, I thought this has to be from the 80s. And then when I saw the date, I was like, this is the mid 90s. I was in high school at this time.
Yes. I was a college graduate.
So that was a bit shocking. But it was an old video.
Sister missionaries.
Yes, this family member specializes in old retro church videos. It's his jam. So this one in particular was for sister missionaries, but there's a whole series on manners for missionaries from the 90s, mid 90s. This very short, what was it? 4 or 5 minute video.
It was not long.
Was geared towards sisters. And it was called Poise for Sister Missionaries. And it was all about how to get into and out of a car properly, how to bend over properly,
how to sit in a chair properly,
you're not showing your bum or your chest, how to sit in a chair properly. Don't sit in the front row. of a chapel because you might distract the speaker.
How to, like, when you're standing, where to place your hands.
Yes. Lots of funny stuff.
It was
It
horrifying.
did not age well.
It did not age well.
At all.
At all. And again, I am thinking to myself, I don't think the 90s was that long ago, and this is what we were putting out then.
I know. I was like, I was in high school. This is the messaging I got. I'm sure it was. I mean, I didn't watch that particular video.
Well, I know. And then
But-
you and I had a whole discussion about how you think that the messaging that you got in your
Yes.
era has how it is impacting today.
Yes, we had a whole discussion about this because, as you know, listeners who've been listening, we've been talking a lot about the garments.
Yes.
And there are so many strong feelings about the new garments.
The new tank tops.
From LDS women.
Yes.
And I have a running theory that LDS women who were like going through teenage years in the 90s in particular, probably also into the early 2000s, that was an era that was so heavy-handed on the Strength of Youth pamphlet. And that was an era where the For Strength of Youth pamphlet had very, very
strict standards.
Specific details.
Yeah.
Length of shorts, length of sleeves, like
because I don't think in the
very
80s when
specific.
I was a teenager that it was that specific. I think it got more specific with time.
So too. And it was pounded into us in the 90s. Not only that, we had church dances and you had to have a dance card. And to get a dance card, you had to get an interview before every church dance. And if you brought a friend, they had to like go get an interview with a priesthood leader who was there at the dance.
So creepy.
And in the interviews,
so creepy.
Yes, so creepy. They went over the dress standards in the Strength of Youth, the sleeve length, the skirt length, the short length. Like they went over all those it was hammered into us so much that I think my running theory is there are a lot of women online with these garments that are just losing their ever-loving minds because how can this change?
When it was hammered into you.
Hurt feelings.
Yes.
There's two things. There's hurt feelings like, well, how come I had to have this? And yeah, there's just, anyway, my running theory, I want a survey. Peggy Fletcher Stack, are you listening?
Do a survey.
I would like a survey. I want to know.
Do a survey of women in the church born.
Yes.
What would you say between like
I would
75 to 90 or 85?
Yeah.
Would you say it's a 10-year time span from like 75 to 85 or 88?
I'd say 75 to maybe 88.
Okay.
Maybe 90.
Okay.
I just want to know if their feelings are more conflicted and muddy and messy about all of the garment change and just modesty and body image and things like that.
Than people before or people after.
Yes.
That would be so fascinating.
Because this is just my running theory on the whole situation. Just as a person who lived through Young Women's in the 90s. I just feel like some of the reason why the feelings are strong and aggressive is because
aggressive is a very accurate description.
Is because of the way it was pounded into us about modesty in that particular decade or maybe decade and a half. So, and my, I think it goes into the early 2000s because I have a sister-in-law and she was a teenager in the 2000s and mid 2000s and she really got it hammered into her too.
Yeah.
So
fascinating.
Anyway, I really want to know. I want some data.
Okay. Well, now that we've talked about this video, I will put this video up tonight on our Facebook page because I think I still have the link that you sent me. I'll put it up on the Facebook page and we'll see if we can get some feedback from our listeners about what they think of this missionary training video from the 90s.
Did it age well? No. I mean, you don't have to answer that question.
It definitely didn't age.
The answer is no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but it's just.
But it is entertaining.
It is entertaining and mortifying. Yeah. So, okay. I have to do a follow-up on something that I mentioned in May when we recorded in May. And I said that I couldn't talk about it in May, but I would talk about it in June. And then I didn't even talk about it in June.
Oh, what was that?
Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
Yes.
So I believe I had mentioned in May that season 2 of America's Sweethearts, which is a documentary on Netflix, the producer of that documentary is Greg Whiteley. He has done a number of sports related documentaries for Netflix. and he is a member of the church, BYU grad. Anyway, so I said that I might have some more information about the DCC. That's short for Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders, if you're in the know, but I couldn't share it then. Well, I can share it now.
Oh, yes.
So this is so exciting. So a couple years ago, we had a young woman in our ward. Her name is Jenna Beckstrom, and she she was Miss Teen Idaho USA. She went to nationals. She was first runner up. Well, since then, Jenna has gone on and she attends Weber State. And Weber State has the number one dance team in the nation. They've won nationals for the last 2 or 3 years. Anyway, it has always been her goal to try out for Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders. So she tried out. This was her first year trying out. And here is the tryout process for this. You send a videotape in, and if they like your videotape, they send you choreography, and you send a second videotape in with your choreography. And then I think maybe they do some sort of an interview, and then they invite you to, not to training camp, but to the solo audition day. And then if you make it through solo audition day, you go to training camp, and then there are further cuts from training camp. So Jenna makes it to solo audition day. Now, mind you, there are thousands of girls who submit videos. There are only 75 girls who go to solo audition day. 30 of those 75 girls are currently on the team because you have to try out every year.
So really only 45.
Really only 45. And so I knew this in May when we recorded, but I couldn't talk about it yet. And I had to wait until she had gone through the whole thing. So she went and she did her solo. And she did not make it to training camp, but a couple of really exciting things happened. First of all, she gave me a laundry list of everything that she learned. She said, I'm trying out again next year, and here's all the things I'm going to do differently. And that is not unusual because I think it's the rare exception that a girl makes it to training camp that hasn't previously tried out. It's so competitive. But this is what's really cool. When I knew Jenna was going, I said, Jenna, are you going to be on the documentary? And she said, well, I don't know. She said, I have to sign some waivers and stuff. And so I said to her, okay, the guy who does this documentary, Greg Whiteley, I said, he's a member of the church, active member of the church. And she's like, really? And I said, yeah, I mean, she'd seen America's Sweetheart. So I tell her that. So she gets to the football stadium. I can't remember what it's called, checks in and everything, and signs all the waivers and everything. And he says she gets pulled aside and she gets put into a room and she gets mic'd up, and he comes in and introduces himself to her. And she said, the only thing I could think of when he introduced himself was, you say, Jenna, he's a member of the church. So she spits out, hey, I'm a member of the church too. Anyway,
hey, you got to use it.
You got to use it.
Use it when you can.
Here's what's really funny. He had no idea she was a member of the church. So he gets obviously all the biographies and everything in advance. He had selected 5 rookies to follow, and she was on his list. She just happened to be on his list. And so she did a whole bunch of interviews with him. He followed her outside when she didn't make it, when she was greeted by her mom and her sister. So he started following her Instagram. They just had this really kind of cool connection. So I suspect when season 3 comes out next year, we will see a little bit of Jenna in season 3. I don't think we'll obviously not see a lot of her, but she will be back again next year trying out. So that was my DCC update. And Jenna very well because she's done some solo choreography for your daughter, who's a dancer.
My daughter adores her.
Yes.
And she's been really, really so sweet to my daughter.
Yes. So all right. One more thing before we get to stories, because we've done a lot of host chat tonight, but that's okay because we don't have much in stories. It's been a slow news year. Okay, I have to tell you about this song that my choir sang in church on Sunday. Okay. It's one of the new hymns. In fact, I'm going to pull it up and I'm just going to play a little bit for you because there's really no other way to describe this.
Is this one of the brand new
ones?
This
is one of the brand new. Yes, it is called. It's hymn number 1037, and it says, the title of it is, I'm going to live so God can use me.
Okay.
Let's see if we can. Content not available. It won't let me download it. Are you kidding me? Where do you, I just want to listen to it.
There we go.
Anyway, while it's playing, I'll talk about it.
Ooh.
It is an African American
I could
spiritual.
tell by the first few notes.
Exactly. So
Okay, I like it.
I know. Anyway, isn't it kind of cool?
Yes.
Anyway, so our choir sung that. And before our choir sang that, our counselor got up and he said, this is an African American spiritual that's been, added to the hymn book, talked a little bit about the hymn. If you are on the app and you click about this hymn, it will give you like the whole history of the hymn and how the slaves came up with it and sang it. And anyway, all of this stuff. And he said, the counselor, he said, swaying is encouraged.
Stop. No.
I kid you
I love this for you.
not.
Did he say you could clap?
No, he did not say we could clap.
Come on.
But he did say swaying was encouraged.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of swaying with the choir.
Okay.
There was a little bit of swaying with the audience. I mean,
this is new.
This is hard for us to get out of our uptight Protestant,
not in our comfort zone.
We be reverent in the chapel sort of a thing. But let me tell you who had the swaying down pat. Do you remember the little 10-year-old boy?
Oh, yeah.
Whose name was Amadeus. His middle name is Amadeus.
That likes to lead the choir.
So.
Was he swaying?
He was sitting on the bench. He had one arm around his dad. He had the other arm around his brother. And they were swaying in unison.
Oh, I want to come and watch him.
Oh, it was so sweet. In fact, the counselor got up after that and he said, well, the Reliers really understood the assignment.
Okay, I love that.
So it was really, really cool.
I want to sway in my ward.
So you need to figure out who your ward music person is.
My ward choir director is my co-camp director.
I kind of gathered that on Sunday when I attended your ward and I saw her leading the music.
I will have to tell her this story.
You will have to tell her this, or maybe she even listens. Does she listen to our podcast?
Oh, yeah, she does. Yeah.
Okay, well then she needs to have your choir do it, and she needs to get the counselor to get up and say, swaying.
There must be a pre-explanation.
Exactly.
Yes.
Swaying is encouraged. And then our choir didn't sway as much as, you would expect them to sway.
They needed some robes. To really get into it.
Again, this is very outside our LDS comfort zone, but it was cool.
Okay. That's really cool. I love that.
And just an example of just the variety that we are getting in this new hymn book that is so awesome.
Yeah. Very cool.
All right. Well, we're 20 minutes into the show. Let's pound out a few stories. So we're going to start with a very sad one. This has been talked about a little bit. There were 10 members of the church that were involved in a multi-vehicle accident on June 21st. And this occurred in Africa, in Lesotho, Africa. And a number of these were young women on their way to a young women's activity. So there were 10 members that were killed. So there were 6 girls that were killed. There were 2 females that were 24, the branch president and her counselor, both 24 years old, that were killed, as well as the young women's president. Yes, thank you for that clarification. As well as the branch president and his wife. So sad. They did a joint funeral. They had about 3,000 people there. The prime minister came to the funeral. They had all 10 of these caskets lined up. It was just super, super, super tragic. Yeah. But, they were trying to, kind of make the best of it. Because many of the speakers expressed both deep pain and hope and faith. So, anyway, kind of a sad story for those saints.
Super sad. Okay, next story was from the Church News. This is about church historian and recorder Elder Kyle S. McKay and his wife recently joined a youth trek. It is trekking season.
Yes.
And this trek went across Wyoming on the same path that the William Martin Handcart pioneers trekked. And I didn't realize this. Apparently nobody's been trekking this trail for a while.
I know.
I thought that was a standard. This is where treks started, I believe. I do believe the very first treks took place.
Exactly.
I mean, reenactment treks.
Reenactment, yes.
Took place on this particular trail in Wyoming. So I just assumed this was happening every summer. But I guess it's been, I think they said about 10 years, didn't they, since this particular trail has been in operation.
So you can go and you can actually go get go on the exact Rocky Ridge. I mean, we
Right.
try and create Rocky Ridge on our tracks, but you could go on the actual Rocky
If
Ridge
you want to go all in,
if you want to go all in.
get yourself to Wyoming.
Yeah.
So anyway, this church historian and his wife joined the youth on this trail. So this article was just kind of a write up about. He was very excited to go on this trail because it was so historical. Obviously, he's a church historian,
And he was sharing with them tidbits of history.
Yes.
When they would gather, when
I'm
they would
sure-
stop and gather.
I'm sure he's a good one to have on the trail for the historical facts.
Exactly. I hope that he's a good storyteller because you can know historical facts, but if you really want to engage, you got to be a good storyteller.
Yes. Anyways, there are missionaries. There's a what do you call it? Like a center.
Yes.
I've been there before. A visitor center. There's a visitor center out there in Wyoming. I actually have been to the visitor center. You can go there without actually trekking.
Oh.
Which I would recommend. This missionary took us out in a truck across the field to find the grave of an ancestor who died on the trail. That's the way to go.
That's the way to go. That I would do. Which ancestor? Was it
Linford?
Was
Linford.
Yeah. Linford. Okay.
The sweet elder missionary said,
was he so excited to know you had an ancestor that died on the trail?
I know where that memorial is. Well, get in my truck. I'll take you. You'll never find it. And it was on some dirt road. We never would have gotten there.
Well, we actually had two. We had one on our mom's side and one on our dad's side because we have Levi Savage on our mom's side. Yes. And the church historian talked about Levi Savage when he was talking to the children.
I have some feelings now about Levi Savage.
Good or bad?
I told you this, didn't I? Levi Savage, our most famous ancestor.
Yes.
We have buoyed him up for years and years. He was helpful with the Willie and Martin.
Yes.
He was the one that said, don't go. He was
in the movie. Now I remember your feelings on Levi Savage.
I'm going to burst your bubble now because I'm going to tell you.
I remember those feelings. All right.
So several years ago, I was looking him up again for a child that had to take an ancestor story to activity days. And as I looked him up, I noticed all of a sudden that after he got to Utah, he married a widow who he met in the William Martin Handcart Company. She had 2 young daughters, ages 5 and 7. Those young daughters grew up, and then he married them too.
Yeah, I remember that now.
I mean, people hold multitudes. There's good and bad, to everyone. But
I forgot you told me that.
That was I was
trying to put that on a shelf and forget it.
I was like, what? This guy has been the family hero for decades. And nobody ever told me this dark, dark side of his past. So I had to scrap it. I'm like, no, we're going to find a woman pioneer to be our new family hero that we talk about. So now we talk about the wife of the guy that died in William Martin Handcart Company.
Oh, okay.
Mary Linford.
Okay.
She is our new take your pioneer name to activity days.
I got it.
Her husband died on the trail. She carried on.
Okay. It's probably appropriate.
She didn't marry any stepdaughters.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, let's just hope by the time we get to the other side, maybe we understand something a little better. I don't know.
I don't know about that. That one's going to be a toughie, but people hold multitudes.
Exactly. That's a very good way to put it. Okay, let's move on to the Heber Temple. Now, the church had announced several years ago, in fact, I believe it was 2021, when President Nelson announced plans to build a temple in Heber City. Now, this is Heber City, Utah. You would think a Utah temple. Boom, just sail right through. No. This thing has been mired in the mud and controversy and legal fights and challenges.
If you can't get it done in Utah, where are you getting it done at?
Where are you going to get it done at? Anyway, so ultimately it got approved by the city council, and then people challenged that and took that to district court and had several different reasons as to why they were challenging it. They challenged it because they said that the city council had created special zoning, that the notice for the public hearing didn't follow the law. They also said that the temple was not good for the community and that it would reduce the value of their property. So these are all of the reasons why they are challenging the decision of the city council to allow the temple. So this goes before a district judge. The church gets involved. So you've got the citizens, you've got the city council. The church gets involved as a third party because they're like, "Yo, this is about us. We would like a seat at the table." And they filed a motion for summary judgment. Now, let me explain to you what a motion for summary judgment is. Being a lawyer, I use this tactic all the time. So you can obviously go to trial and have a judge or a jury decide your fate. If you think there are no issues of merit for trial, you file what's called a summary judgment and you say, Judge, dismiss this case. We shouldn't waste our time with trial because there are no legal issues for trial.
Okay.
And so that is exactly what happened. And so 4th District Judge Jennifer Mabee took a look at all 4 of these issues. She agreed with the church and the city council on all 4 of these issues, and she completely dismissed the lawsuit, which now I'm going to put in quotes, opens the door for temple construction because the church said, hey, we're not going to do any construction until we get all of the legal stuff figured out, which is a very smart thing to do. So it technically opens the door now that the church can construct, but the parties who originally filed the lawsuit can appeal this decision, and it could go to either the Utah Court of Appeals or the Utah Supreme Court. Now, they have a certain amount of time. Usually it's, 45 days or so to file an appeal. If they do not file an appeal within that 45 days, then the church can begin construction. If they file an appeal, then it'll take a little bit longer.
Okay, so the clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking, but for right now, and it is a big deal to be granted summary judgment, because what a judge has to say to grant summary judgment is there's no way, no how you could win at trial. That is the threshold for summary judgment. If there's a way or a how that you could win at trial, then a judge is going to deny summary judgment and say, we're going to go to trial and hear all the facts.
Okay.
If there's no way, no how, you get summary judgment.
So if they carry on, it's probably a big old waste of money.
It probably is, but that never stopped anybody. Okay. All right. In further temple news, open house. Now, usually we don't cover these because, there's a lot of them these days, but this is one in Idaho, and we're Idaho girls.
That's right.
So we have to cover it.
I had no idea this one was coming up so quickly.
Yes, the Burley, Idaho Temple. They will be having media temple days on November 3rd, 2025 and November 4th. And then there will be a public open house from November 6th through November 22nd. It will be dedicated on January 11th.
Okay,
so
coming right up.
Get your tickets and head to Burley if you want to see the temple.
Okay, next story. This is a little update on what's going on with the members of the church in LA. This was a write-up by Peggy Fletcher Stack in the Tribune, but I saw this article floating around last week, or this letter. So a stake president of the Los Angeles stake in California, his name is Brian Ames. He asked the members of his congregations to have a special fast last weekend. And a lot of this was centered around the immigration and the things that are happening down there. And his letter was actually really cool. Like, as I read through what he wrote in the letter, I thought it was very powerful and quite lovely. He asked, he's got some English and Spanish wards and branches in his stake. And so he asked for everybody to fast to seek heaven's help to comfort those in need, and request the power of Jesus Christ in our lives and help each of us to be peacemakers and build unity. He talked about how people in the ward are living, some people in the stake are living with fear and uncertainty, and he wanted them to know they're not alone, and we're going to have this special fast. And then he had some pretty strong words too. He said, we do not need judgment right now. These people don't need any judgment. They need to experience the pure love of Jesus Christ reflected in our words and our actions. So it was a very strong written letter, basically like, let's stop judging. Let's not make this political. Let's make this about loving like the Savior would love and taking care of those members in our stake. And so then, the article kind of repeats what we've already talked about, which is the church's stance on immigration in general. They've just, shortly after all of this started happening, released some statements saying, we have to obviously obey the law, but we also need to love all of God's children, provide basic food and clothing to those in need, regardless of their immigration status. And obviously we believe strongly in keeping families together. That's the official church stance. But what I thought was really interesting is she interviewed a member of the church down there who is a grad student at Claremont University. And he is not in this stake, but he's in the East LA stake. And he's, said himself, he is an immigration activist, like trying to help those in need. And he said he's been getting food from food banks and delivering them to immigrant homes where they're scared to go outside and leave. And he said, personally, his take on it is he's really worried that that ICE or somebody could find like Spanish words by filtering on the LDS website, and that they're kind of vulnerable. He said that hasn't happened yet, as far as he knows. But he said the members in his stake in East LA, he said they have canceled most communal gatherings other than Sunday services.
Wow.
Just to be safe. So I thought, oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That was going on down there. I mean, I know everybody's worried.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just interesting to see how members are handling this down there.
Yeah.
Where it's a bigger issue than it is here. So anyways, we just hope everybody's safe, and it sounds like they're taking care of each other, which is, I love to hear that.
I love to hear that too. All right. I have another legal case.
Okay.
Because, I'm the legal queen.
Okay.
I have a Tim Ballard update.
Oh, boy. We haven't talked about him in a long time.
We have not talked about him in a long time. So, this is disappointing, but also from a legal perspective, I understand. So, his former assistant was a woman by the name of Celeste Borais. I'm not sure how her last name is pronounced. Anyway, she and her husband filed a lawsuit against Tim Ballard. I read a lot of her allegations, and they're pretty horrendous.
She's the one he pretended to be in a relationship.
Yes,
with, right?
yes,
okay.
Yes, and so caused alienation of affection between her and her husband. All sorts of stuff
in the undercover.
In the undercover stuff.
He was pretending to have a relationship when they were being undercover. Okay.
So she had all of this evidence establishing their relationship and all of this kind of stuff. Well, the problem with her evidence is she hacked into his email to get it.
Oh, no.
And she did that after she left because, she still had access, understood how to get into everything. And so she essentially illegally obtained this information. It's really no different than if she had a key and went into the office in the dead of night and stole the stuff.
So here's a question. Had she gotten it before she left the company and downloaded it, would that be okay to have as evidence? Or would that also be considered like breaking?
I don't know. So,
I mean, it doesn't matter because she did it after she left. But I guess I was just curious.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on what kind of. I mean, if she routinely had access to that,
right. She's his assistant and she always has access to his email.
That I don't know. But what I do know is all of this evidence that she had, which I thought she had gotten after. It says, shortly after Mr. Ballard was giving notice of the lawsuit, we became suspicious that someone had hacked into his private email, into his Google Drive, and stolen his documents and his private email communications. So I think that probably her lawyer had written a demand letter, because that's what you have to do first before you file. And then the lawyer had said, I need some evidence. And then it sounds like that's when she hacked into it.
Okay.
So I think if she had taken it or made copies of it while she was still employed, she would have been okay. Anyway, so that evidence supported the weight of her lawsuit. And so with that evidence thrown out, the lawsuit gets dismissed.
Well, shoot.
Now, there are other lawsuits against him. So, but some of those lawsuits also rely on this evidence.
Because there's one that has a bunch of women together.
Yes, there's one that has a bunch of women together. Now, I am sure that his attorneys are going to challenge that. And it'll be interesting to see how this comes out, because these women were the recipients of her illegally obtained information, but they didn't illegally obtain it. She illegally obtained it. That's kind of a higher standard. So I don't know what the judge will do. It still does not excuse his behavior.
Right.
I mean, this is not a thing saying, oh, we won, never happened.
I hate to see him getting off on a technicality.
I hate to see him getting off on a technicality too. But here is our legal system. Right. Love it or hate it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works in your favor and sometimes it doesn't. And if you pick up one end of the stick, you pick up the other. And that seems to be lost in our political climate right now. In our political climate right now, it seems to be, well, it should work the way I want it to work when it works in my favor. But when it doesn't work in my favor, then it shouldn't work that way.
Right.
That's not how the legal system works. You win some, you lose some. So between this and the Temple lawsuit tonight, this is a good yin and yang to kind of give examples about how
It swings both ways.
it swings both ways. So anyway, I will continue to follow Tim Ballard because never have I done a podcast episode focused on solely one individual the way that I deep dived into Tim Ballard.
That was a deep dive. I forgot about that one.
Well, I was a little obsessed. So he'd been bugging me for a while. All right, let's move on to a fun story.
Okay. Oh, the Tab Cats. Tabernacle
Yes.
Choir's 5,000th broadcast, which we've discussed. We've kind of been discussing all summer. They were coming up on their 5,000th broadcasts. But the story here is the New York Times did a wonderful little piece on them. Nice
Yes, they
write-up
did.
on the choir and how it's, been broadcasting since 1929. This is in its 50th year. They talked about is how somebody said it's the jewel of the church. Elder Holland said that.
Matthew S. Holland,
Yes.
son of Jeffrey R.
Yeah, not that. Yeah, the other Holland said it is the jewel of the church. And so the New York Times just talked about how hard it is to get in and what the application process is like and what the requirements are. And
it might be as challenging to get into the Tab Cats as it is to get into the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
That's true. It says they have
different challenge though.
300 applicants for 50 spots each
Yeah.
year.
That's just about the same math.
I bet DCC has maybe a few more than that.
But they don't have 50 spots. They only had 6 spots this year.
True. That's true. So anyways, it was a very nice write-up. And they talked about how even as the world has changed, the purpose of the broadcast remains the same. 30 minutes of peace broadcast freely to the world. That's what the new director, Derek Porter, said. And I thought that is lovely.
I really like that.
It wasn't even like 30 minutes to bring you to Christ. All he said, which, I mean, it does. But his framing of it was 30 minutes of peace, which it also does. So
I have to tell you what we've started doing on Sundays.
What?
So we get home from church at 12:30. Next year we'll be on the later schedule, but right now we get home from church at 12:30. It used to be every Sunday we would put on The Chosen, and The Chosen would just run in the background. Well, that's a lot of Chosen every Sunday.
I know, and I've only tried to watch The Chosen maybe once or twice. That is not a show you can have on in the background and understand what's going on.
No.
You have to sit and focus.
It is not a background show. So what I have been doing these days is I come home from church and I get on the YouTube channel and I go to Music and the Spoken Word, the YouTube channel, and it will bring up that day's broadcast. We watch that day's broadcast. And then for the rest of the afternoon, it plays me just little snippets of all sorts of songs on the YouTube channel.
Clips.
Well, it'll play the whole song, but not a broadcast.
Right.
It just plays songs. And some of them are the choir singing. Some of them are from conferences where you have missionaries singing, where you have different people singing. And so Sunday afternoon, while I am going about my house, doing my little Sunday things, I have this on in the background, and I have to tell you, I absolutely love it. It's very good background noise for Sunday.
We turn it on while we're getting ready for church.
Yes,
because we have afternoon church, and so we turn it on every week while we get ready, and it gets us ready for church.
Yep,
and that is something our Father instilled in us.
It's very true.
It is not Sunday without listening to music.
It's very true. Thanks, Noel. All right, another fun story. There is a new YouTube reality show that is, I wouldn't say BYU based. It's done in Provo.
Provo based.
It's Provo based, but a lot of the people on there aren't necessarily from Provo. It is a dating show, and it is called The Altar.
I need the full scoop on this. I saw some buzz about it on Instagram, but I have not watched.
So they start with 10 boys.
Okay.
10 girls.
Okay.
There is a curtain between them. Okay. And so they've got 5 and 5 on, 5 boys, 5 girls. And so the premises of it is one of them steps up, like the first one stepped up was a girl, and she introduces herself. Now the boys can't see her. They can only hear her. She introduces herself. And then any boy who wants the opportunity to maybe get to know her better, to see if he would like to couple up with her, can step up and then ask her questions.
Okay.
And then if they decide that they want to couple up, the curtain comes down and he gets to see her. The other boys can't still see the girls that are sitting there. And they are eliminating 3 or 4. I think they're going to have a total of 6 couples. So I think they're eliminating like 4 of the boys, 4 of the, however that math works in
Okay.
this initial process.
Okay.
So I watched about half of the first episode today because I was so fascinated by this. And I'm still so fascinated by
Did
it.
it suck you in?
It sucks me in.
I mean,
Now,
I'm going to watch this. This is my kind of show.
It's got kind of some cheap production quality. It's no Real Housewives of Salt Lake.
It's a little community television.
It's a little community television. It's really, yes, it's very community television oriented. It's really, it's just so fascinating about the dating scene and Provo and Latter-day Saints.
This reminds me of, remember when they did The Mormon Bachelor?
Yes.
And The Mormon Bachelorette, and that was a YouTube thing,
yes.
wasn't it?
Well, and then, so these 6 couples somehow pare down to only one couple who wins like a grand prize, which is like some fancy date.
Okay.
Again, I haven't gotten far enough because there's multiple episodes of this. I'm only halfway through the first episode.
Okay.
But it was highly entertaining.
Well, I'm going to have to check
Now,
this out.
the host of this show is allegedly a man named Remington. What I really want to know is Remington his real name or is Remington his TV name?
Remington.
So, and then I wrote
That's a
down
good
some of the
name.
names of the contestants because you know we love a good Mormon name.
Mhm.
They really were not as bad as I thought. Now, I didn't get all the boys because I didn't get through all the episodes when they were introducing themselves. I have a Jensen, a Max, a Sam, a Dakota, a Scott.
Okay.
Relatively normal. For girls, I have a Riley, a Maddie, a Millie, Alyssa, Allie. I don't know what that one is. Skylar. Sheridan? Sheridan, maybe that's what that one was. I was trying to do something while I was watching all of this. Anyway, so I was kind of impressed that they weren't all Utah names. Although I do have to say 2/3 of the girls had Utah hair.
Like the
Secret Lives hair. The Secret Lives hair.
The extensions and the curls.
The parted in the middle,
Mhm.
the kind of straight, wavy, beachy, wavy curl things.
Okay.
So,
Well,
and the other girls who did not have that had naturally curly hair.
oh, interesting.
So yes, it was that. I found that very interesting. Anyway,
Well,
that was my take on that.
I will definitely be checking this out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
What's next? Oh, Elder Razban. We'll just touch on this.
Just touch on that one.
Elder Razban went to the Nauvoo pageant this summer. First of all, I didn't know the Nauvoo pageant was still happening. I guess it is.
Well, it's the Nauvoo pageant and the British pageant. I think they swap off every other night.
I guess so. Anyway, he had grandkids in the Nauvoo pageant. So him and his wife went.
Kids and his son and daughter-in-law.
Yes.
They were like a whole family.
A whole family. Grandkids and children. So he and his wife went out there, participated in the festivities. There's fun pictures of him online, dancing, participating with, I don't know.
It had been
cute.
14 years since an apostle had visited the pageants.
Really surprising.
It really is.
I mean, there has to be others that have at least had grandkids in it, right?
I don't know.
They're too busy. They're not hitting the Nauvoo scene.
But it's the month of July. They take July off. That's our understanding. They vacation in July.
Right. You're right. Anyways,
I don't know.
It was a fun article. He spoke to them all in like a pre-performance devotional.
Well, and maybe when I say they vacation in July, that means they hang out with their families in July.
Maybe that just means they stay in Salt Lake.
And so he was hanging out with his kids, and his kids were there, so he went there.
Yeah.
So it was a working vacation.
Yes.
I have a feeling every vacation for them is a working vacation.
Well, and you know it was because they went to like the fair. They said there was a fair.
Yeah, they went to the fair.
And he was in his suit. But I noticed his wife put pants on. He wasn't in his suit. He was in his white shirt and tie at the fair. I was like, oh, come on.
It's the fair. You can wear a polo shirt.
Let him put on a polo.
It's July. Plus, it's humid.
Give him some shorts.
Oh, no. We can't go there. The best we're going to get is a polo shirt.
Anyways. All right.
Or if you're Jeffrey Holland, he was the grand marshal for the 24th of July parade yesterday in Salt Lake City. And so he had on a cowboy shirt with a bolero tie.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Well, that's changing it up.
Very interesting to not see him. I can't
Did it have a print on it?
Well, it was a plaid print. It was a cowboy shirt with, was blue whitish sort of a thing.
Okay.
So
the rare not white shirt sighting.
The rare not white shirt sighting. we had a screenshot all of those, and
we could probably
put them on the Facebook page. A non-white shirt sighting.
We should. We could probably count them like real fast.
Oh yeah,
like one hand, maybe two hands.
Easy.
Anyways.
Okay.
Okay, next we have a couple of BYU stories. First one, there is an exhibit in the library right now,
The Harold B. Lee
Harold
Library.
B. Lee Library on BYU campus, that is showing apparently there is a member of the church who is an artist who did a comic book series. He's from Canada. This is like a Canadian
It's a
comic
Canadian thing. Who knew?
It's
There
called
are superheroes in Canada.
it's called Captain Canuck. And
I thought we had the market on
I
superheroes
guess
here in
not. I
America.
guess not. And it was a comic book series that was, I think, popular back in the 70s, but maybe still. I don't know. Anyways, they have a feature on him at the BYU Library right now. He is LDS. And I will say he put some LDS, not LDS themes, some Christian themes
Christian
in
themes.
his comics throughout the years.
Exactly.
So go visit that if you're into comic book lore. Okay.
Okay, you got it. This one, this BYU story is just epic.
This is the best BYU
This
story.
is so great.
This was a write-up that the Salt Lake
Y'all are going to
Tribune-
love the punchline.
the Salt Lake Tribune did. BYU students have revived a club that you would not expect to see at BYU, a Catholic club.
Okay.
Apparently, there was a Catholic club that was founded back in 1997. This is just something that never crossed my mind. I know there are members. I know there are non-members at BYU, but honestly, they're so few and far between that it never crossed my mind to think
They'd want a club.
are they in other religions? So anyway, there are Catholics on the BYU campus, which is
This is kind of like Baptists at our barbecue.
Yes.
Catholics at our school.
Catholics on our campus.
Catholics on our campus.
So apparently there was a club founded in 1997, and then it kind of fell apart. I'm sure they probably were lacking numbers, but it got reignited in the year 2022. There was a student who came from another country. She was Catholic. Apparently, she talked to the university chaplain. Also, did not know BYU had a university chaplain.
Now, is the chaplain a member of the church, or is the chaplain a member of another faith?
That's a good question.
Okay.
Anyway, he invited her to restart the club. It's called the Catholic Newman Club.
Okay.
And so she went for it. She started it up again. By 2024, the group had more than a dozen members.
Well, good for them.
And they were ready to celebrate by bringing Mass to campus.
Oh.
They said they really missed having Mass. There are not a lot of like Catholics in Utah. So
and then you factor, well, actually, I think they've got a pretty strong Catholic population up in Salt Lake City.
Probably in Salt Lake City.
Utah County, that's a beast of another color.
This statistic said 4% of Utahns identify as Catholic.
And those 4% all live in Salt Lake County. Because they have a high school up there. I think Judge Memorial is a big Catholic high school up there.
All right.
Okay. Anyway.
So they wanted to bring Mass to campus. They said there were two obstacles to overcome. One, the bureaucracy of BYU.
Okay.
Two,
that's not an obstacle. That's a Mount Timpanogos.
It's big. Number two, they had to find a priest. And they said that was tricky because the priests are spread far and thin in Utah. There aren't very many.
Well, when you only got 4% of your population that's Catholic.
You got to hit
and a fraction of those that are active Catholic.
Yes. So they said they finally faced the obstacles, got everything approved for BYU to let them have the Mass.
So they got their paperwork.
They got their
bureaucracy.
They got it passed through.
They got their priest.
But then this is what held them up. BYU was like, you can't have candles. We have a no open flame policy. Apparently, that's not just for church buildings. It's universal. Also at BYU. Anyways, I was dying when I read this. I was like, oh my gosh, the open flame policy.
To be stopped at the door by the open flame policy.
Anybody who's ever had a wedding reception in the church feels your pain.
No open flames for you.
So that was a major holdup. But on January 16th, they were able to hold the first Catholic Mass, and the school relented on the campus.
No.
Yes.
They relented. They didn't say, "Oh, you have to have a flameless candle."
No, they let them do it.
Wow.
I'm so proud of you, BYU.
BYU, way to go.
I know. So then it was wildly successful. They were passing out rosaries on campus to promote it because they decided they wanted to invite everybody, which was super nice of them.
Yeah.
And they were expecting 150 people to show up, but 350 people showed up.
Well,
it was wildly popular.
Good for them.
So I think that's really cool.
I think that's very cool too.
So fun.
Okay, our last BYU story. We'll hit on this really quick. Pathways got hacked.
Uh-oh.
So if you are a Pathways student, your information has been exposed. This hack occurred in June of this year. Apparently what happened is there was a third-party vendor. The third-party vendor got hacked, which then allowed them to get into the BYU Pathway program. So they have not been able to tell as of yet if any students were impacted, if their IDs were compromised, that sort of a thing. But everybody whose information was hacked, they've sent a letter out to them. They've offered some free credit monitoring, etc., etc.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe. Okay, Mormons in the media.
Mormons in the
Let's hit this
media.
real
Gotta
quick
hit this really quick. This is
because my Mormons behaving badly is a doozy.
This is an article from the Tribune. There are lots of members of the church on American Ninja Warrior currently and in the past.
Yes.
We thrive at this, apparently.
The Beckstrands. Okay, the Beckstrands out of St. George have had, I think,
like
five people in their family.
members.
They are to American Ninja Warrior what the Wright family is to rodeo.
Right. And what the Hoffs are to. No, the
Huffs.
Huffs.
To dancing.
To dancing.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I was wondering after reading this article there. So there are two brothers that are currently on, but there's been two other brothers from a different family.
They have a little sister who was on.
It sounds like Utah is like quite the hub for American Ninja Warrior training. I'm like, we are pumping out dancers and ninja warriors out of Utah. Interesting, huh?
What does that say about us culturally as members of the church?
I don't know. It's quite the combo.
Okay, maybe we ought to ask Peggy Fletcher Stack to do an in-depth analysis on what does it mean that Utah pumps out dancers and ninja warriors?
And soda
Please.
cookies.
And soda and cookies.
We just have quite the variety.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do. Okay, Mormons behaving badly. We have talked about this, but now the gentleman is on trial. There is a gentleman by the name of James Craig. He is a dentist in Colorado. I don't believe he is currently a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but he was more than likely formerly a member. Well, he was a member. I just think he's probably not anymore because he's been charged with murdering his wife.
I would think that would get you some serious problems.
I believe Chad Daybell was excommunicated.
Right.
Anyway, so he is a dentist. He was having financial problems and affairs. And so he decided, well, in order to solve my financial problems and affairs, I think I'll just poison my wife. So he poisoned her with arsenic and cyanide.
This is so sad.
And he, of course, denies it. And so hence the reason he's on trial. Here's the worst part. Two of the first witnesses that had to testify for the prosecution were his kids, his two older daughters.
I hadn't read that.
Yes.
Oh.
So his two older daughters were two of the first witnesses. His oldest daughter testified, yeah, my mom was happy. Nothing was wrong with her, etc. Because he's trying to say, oh, this was suicide. She poisoned herself. Although he's the one that ordered the poison and they have it
search history on his computer.
How's he gonna get
out of that?
The poison was delivered to his dental office. And this is how he got caught, is he told the office manager, there's a package coming for me. Don't open it. Just put it on my desk. Well, the office manager didn't see the package. Somebody else in the office saw the package, opened it, saw what it was, went to the office manager and said, why do we use cyanide? That just started the dominoes tumbling.
Get a PO box.
But his second oldest kid, this is what he did to his second oldest kid, which she testified to, which is just beyond horrific. If killing her mom wasn't horrific enough, he sends her a letter from jail and he says, I need you to create a deep fake video of your mom.
No.
And you need to, in this deep fake video, make it seem like she wanted him to order the ingredients, which ultimately led to her death, and that she was suicidal, etc. So the letter had directions that she was to buy a cheap laptop, install a private network with a dark web browser, and she was to pay for it using a prepaid Visa card. She was then asked to burn the video to thumb drives and give them to investigators and say, oh, I found these in my mom's bag, and then destroy the laptop and all of the other evidence.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
he sent this letter from jail?
He sent this letter from jail to his daughter.
Do they not read all of your letters?
Yes. They read your letters.
I'm pretty sure that's standard procedure, right?
Oh, there are other people in jail he's tried to buy off to create this myth that his wife was suicidal. He targeted this daughter because she is most like her mother. She's stoic and practical, and is technologically adept.
Oh my gosh.
So not only do you have to go testify that your dad killed your mom, then you have to testify he wanted me to cover it up for him,
Oh, that's
all while facing
awful.
your dad in court. That girl, oh my gosh,
I'm assuming these kids are grown.
Yes, she's 20 right now, and the
So
other
she
daughter
was
is like
still-
21.
But they were still in the house when it happened then. 'cause
Yeah,
it's been a couple
yeah,
years.
it's been a couple. She would have been maybe just barely an adult when it
Okay.
happened.
Aw.
But yeah, because she does testify, she still was living at home when it happened. And she also testified, yeah, my mom wasn't suicidal. I talked to her all the time.
Aw.
Anyway,
What a jerk.
just a piece of crap human being is what this guy
Yes.
is. Who does
Awful.
that?
It's awful.
All right, I'll get off my soapbox.
That was a doozy this week.
It was a doozy. Anyway, we will be following that trial. And
I think he's gonna lose. Like, clearly.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say, I think I probably know what the outcome here is going to
Yeah.
be. All right, should we do favorite things? Before we do favorite things, I
Hey.
have a food item for you to try.
Oh, should I be scared? It's not from a cookbook, is it?
No. This is an orange cream pop Twinkie.
Oh, that sounds good. Have we never had these before?
We have never had these before. We have had like the orange cream filled like cupcakes, but we've never had a Twinkie. And I was going to save this, but you can see what's happened that I have consumed.
You dabbled.
I dabbled. So I left two, one for you, one for me.
Oh, I am excited to try this. I like orange.
This is a limited edition.
Okay, so this is like buy it now or else it's never.
Yeah, this is a summer. Who does not love a good orange cream thing in the summer?
Oh, I like it.
Are very good.
I like it. If you like orange.
It's quite artificially
If
orange.
you like artificial orange.
But really, does it not taste like a cream pop?
It does.
The filling inside?
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, that's a winner.
Okay.
It's very strong though.
It is.
Maybe a little of an aftertaste.
It is very strong.
I think I like it better while I'm eating it than the taste it leaves in my mouth afterwards.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
All right, so do your favorite thing, and then I'm gonna have a favorite thing too.
Okay. My favorite thing is a recipe.
Oh,
It is I'm calling it the cookie of the summer.
you brought this
I
to
brought
me
you some
yesterday
last
in
night.
exchange for all of the girls' camp equipment. You showed up at my house last night saying, "I want your stuff, but I'm bringing you delicious treats."
This is my new favorite recipe. My friend Tanya was like, "You have to try this cookie." So it's a Mel's Kitchen Cafe recipe. We know we love Mel.
We do love
And
Mel.
we love our Best Bites. Local members of the church who have recipe blogs. So it is a s'mores thumbprint cookie. So you know, like a thumbprint cookie is the
Yes.
kind that has the Hershey Kiss on top.
Yes.
This one is a s'mores, but my friend Tanya made it better. Instead of putting a Hershey Kiss on top like it calls for, you put a Hershey bar on top, like a little mini Hershey bar. So it's like a graham cracker cookie
Okay.
base, and then a marshmallow on top that gets broiled, so it's toasted.
So don't you cook the cookie first?
Yeah, you cook the cookie first, you put the marshmallow on top, you put it back in and broil it, and then you slap the little Hershey bar
on it when it comes out.
Yes, and they're so good.
They were delicious. You brought enough for me to share, but I didn't share. It might have been breakfast this morning. Okay.
All right, what's your favorite thing?
Okay.
Ooh, cereal.
Staying on the citrusy theme.
Frosted
This is a
lemon.
frosted lemon Cheerio.
Oh.
This is a limited edition. I earlier in June, I was over in Idaho Falls for some depositions, and my daughter who lives in Logan called me and she said, "Mom, they have frosted lemon Cheerios at Walmart." And I had to run to Walmart to get something I can't remember. And so I found myself a box of frosted lemon Cheerios at the Walmart there in Idaho Falls. They do have them in the Walmart here in Boise.
Okay.
Would you like to open and try the frosted lemon Cheerio?
Yes.
It is delicious. I have a little asterisk to say here. I've never eaten these with milk.
Okay. This is like a standalone.
This is, in my opinion, this is a standalone.
Well, that's even better.
Okay.
Okay, here I can try later because we're running out of time.
Okay, we are running out of time, but I highly recommend the frosted lemon Cheerios. They are delicious.
So another thing that I have to buy now or I'll never see it again.
Yeah, pretty much. So when you do your grocery order, get that on your grocery order.
Okay, gonna do it.
Okay.
For sure.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for us tonight. This has been so fun.
I know.
Best wishes to you next week for Girls Camp.
Thank you. Actually, just wish me Godspeed for the next month, because then I have to send my daughter to school.
That's
By
right.
the time we podcast again, I will have survived the wilderness and sending my firstborn child off to college.
And I will be in the mad throngs. I will be days away from my daughter's wedding. Oh, we might need to be in straitjackets next time we record.
We might be messy.
We might be messy. Who's bringing the tissues? All right. Well, Twim Nation, thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. As always, you can find us on the social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook, on Insta. Maybe we can get around to updating our Insta sometime.
Yeah, that's
we're a
on
little behind there. But Facebook, I'm doing pretty good at keeping up on the Facebook.
You're doing good.
Anyway, you can always reach out with questions or comments at contact@thisweekinmormons.com. And if you are so inclined, you can be a Patreon subscriber. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thanks for listening.